Hello everyone, and my name is Marjo Mustola and I work as a project manager in Finnish Forest Center. And I will talk about communication of services, especially forest-related services, and I will share some thoughts and ideas regarding to that. When we start to think about the communication, we first have to think who are our customers. And because of the forest owners have many different needs, it is not cost effective to offer the same service for everyone by using the same marketing arguments. And that is why segmentation is needed also in communication. And after that, the services can be marketed using different marketing arguments for each customer segments. But how to start the segmentation? So factors such as age, gender, or level of education can be used as the basis for customer segmentation. But if the segments are too broad, it can be that the segmentation simplifies too much. For example, it might be that all the female forest owners don't have the same needs and objectives. So more information of the customers is needed to be able to divide the market. And often segmentation is based on mapping customers' values and needs, as Kerstin already told us. But small forest service companies, they might have limited amount of information of their customers. So how they could get started with the segmentation. So forest service companies, they often have access to forest-related information, such as the size of the forest properties and the potential need for the forest management. So combining these and the other factors, it will already lead to a good start in segmentation. In addition, forest service companies typically have strong personal contact with their customer base, and that also provides a good opportunity to start to gather more detailed information about customer motives and needs as a basis for segmentation. In addition, it is possible to utilize existing national surveys on the valuations of forest owners. So it would be effective to contact forest owners personally, either by phone or using email, and to provide individual information of their own forest properties. It could be, for example, maps of the forest owner's own properties to show what kind of services would be needed in their own forests. And nowadays also drones could be used to provide information and visual help to forest owners. Also, a forest management plan or a forest plan could be used to communicate with forest owner. And it could be also a tool for the forest owners to communicate their own needs and objectives to the service provider. But quite a lot of resources are needed for this kind of personal contacts, but this could be done for certain smaller customer segments. But as we have already talked about segmentation, instead of individual messages, the emails could be targeted and sent to certain forest owner segments when the same message can be sent to a bigger group of people who most probably have the same interests and needs. Also, text messages could be used the same way. And actually, during this project, we had a pilot where marketing text messages were sent to certain forest owner segment, and you will hear about the results later today. So if the company does not have the contact information of the forest owners, or it wants to reach new customers, other communication channels are needed. So traditionally, services can be also communicated in the newspapers and magazines. For example, an advertisement in a local newspaper can reach quite well the forest owners in that area. And there are also many newspapers and magazines that are targeted to forest owners or people interested in forest-related services. So sharing an advertisement there could be also a good way to reach new customers. And today, social media is a cost-effective way to reach large groups of people. For example, an active and updated Instagram or Facebook page can reach forest owners. And these different social media channels can be also used for targeted marketing, and often the costs are reasonable. Today, when the forest owners start to look for information about the forest services, they often end up on the internet looking for the service providers. Therefore, in addition to social media, it is important to keep the company's websites updated, informative, and accessible. It is also important to explain what kind of services the company offers. And it's again important to keep in mind the variable needs and objectives of the forest owners. And it shouldn't be assumed that all the forest owners know what's included in the services like young stand improvement or first thinning, for example. Especially for new or unexperienced forest owners, it is important to know why this kind of service would be needed and what would be the economic or other benefits for them, or how the nature management would be taken care of, for example. And if the company has some special knowledge or skills, for example, regarding to continuous cover forestry or climate-friendly forest management, that should be also communicated to the customers. And that way it would be possible to reach the forest owners with different objectives. And it should be also noticed that there are many words and terms in forestry language that might be new to unexperienced forest owners. And that is why words like stumpage price or mounding or selection cutting should be explained, or they should not be used, to avoid that the forest owners feel it difficult to understand or feel themselves like an outsider. Also, pictures and videos are a good way to explain and visualize the services on the web pages and on social media. Then a few words about communication with the forest owners in advisory services. So it is also important to tailor the advisory processes for different kind of forest owners based on their objectives, skills, and their decision-making models. And it should be considered in the service provision whose objectives the advisors aim to fulfill. Are these truly the forest owner's own personal objectives, or the ones that are created for the use of the forest resources by the society? And it should be noticed that the forest advisor is a vital part of the advisory service. However, forest advisors' own personality or values, attitudes, and behavior shouldn't influence on how and what information is brought to the discussion with forest owners, which in turn can impact on the success of the advising process. And during this project, there has been a pilot where the aim was to find out if advisors' own personality or attitude has an impact on the success of the advisory process. And the result of this pilot was that no individual attitude or element can alone fully explain the success or failure of the advising process. So successful advisors can have several different kinds of characteristics, and they still are able to provide quality and successful advice for the forest owners. According to the results in this pilot, certain respect towards the forest owner's own skills seem to help to reach the desired outcome. And also, the more engagement the advisor feel towards their employer, and the more they feel as a part of the advisor group in the organization, the more successful their advising process is. and this could be also connected to the job satisfaction. And it has been also noticed that the advising process has been more successful when limited number of options were offered or explained to the forest owner. So it can be that too many options lead to less successful outcome, or the forest owner has difficulties to make a decision. So then in the end, there are a couple of tips how to start the communication. So first, it's important to think about the segmentation, and if it feels difficult, it would be good to start with the information of your customers that you already have. It's also important to think about the marketing strategy. What would be the best channel to reach your own customer segments? And what would be the marketing message your customer segment would be interested in? And the more customized the message is, the more effective it usually is, regardless of the communication channel used. And it's important to listen to needs and objectives of the forest owners and respect the forest owners' own skills. Yes, thank you.